And I was at a conference last year, and there was an older gentleman sitting next to me who had been in Vietnam. And he turned to me and he started crying. He had heard that this was what I do. And he was like, I never talked about it. And now I'm starting to talk about it. And these tears are not unhappy tears. They're actually the tears of release. And I think that that's what we hope to do with our work together, is allow people a safe space to release and regroup and identify a life moving forward that's full of heart and full of joy in spite of these difficulties and challenges that, these young men and women have witnessed horrible things at a very young age, and they come home and they're not fully developed as adults. They're just coming into young adulthood. And our goal is to help them come into adulthood as bright, shining stars with a full life, to give back to society, to give to their families, and live as joyfully as possible. And that does not mean there will not be down days or bad days or even horrible days, but it's how to manage when those days come.
Yep. You're exactly right there. And that's kind of one of the interesting things about our circles within the Warrior Rendezvous. I had gone back to school a couple of years ago. I'm an English major. I enjoy reading, I enjoy writing. And one of my teachers there was a Vietnam veteran. And he was an officer, and he spent I think 2 tours in one of the more active zones. So he's in the active combat. And we still talk. I haven't been back to school for well over a year now, which I miss, by the way. But, we still talk periodically because we had kind of a kinship to that. Even though we did not serve together and we served in different generations, our experiences are very similar. Our feelings are very similar. He himself is a writer, and we were talking about what you just said about, that generation, that gentleman you're speaking of didn't talk about it.
No.
And that was one of the things he said to me is, I just don't think that most veterans have found their voice, which is that ability to talk about this. And that's one of our circles, is finding your voice. And within that, with our rendezvous, we have workshops for writing. We have workshops for public speaking or just speaking in general to talk about it. Music is another one. I have several friends who utilize music, and their songs are not always about, their combat experiences and stuff, but it's just their medium to be able to express themselves. I have several that use art. So we take that type of model with that in finding their voice. That's this expression, these mediums to express that internal. It's hard to explain what the emotion is on the inside, because most, like that gentleman who started crying, that relief, At some point, all of us veterans who have taken place or have been in these active combat zones and experienced that, we will have that period of relief. And that's kind of what we want to do with Finding Your Voice, is to give these individuals their voice to express themselves.
In a very safe environment. And I think we really want to emphasize that we're creating a really sacred, safe space for people to share what's going on as they're ready, to meet them where they are.
That's right. And that's a very good point, because that's not something that we force. That I don't believe can be forced.
No.
And really all this, as it comes down to the Warrior Rendezvous and programs like your Reboot program and things like that, the individuals have to take the first steps themselves.